The kitty has left the building. Actually, he came right over here. Here we go. Hello, peoples. How are you? All right. Well, the kitty wants to say the public service announcement, sub to the cat. The human is crazy. Just so you guys are aware, you know. Yes, you can have the mouse pad as long as I have my mouse and my notes. Okay, cat? So today we will be talking about what will you do after Windows 7 ends. We're still kind of getting some follow-up on this Firefox issue, though. So apparently, now they said that it won't affect all versions. Mostly it is stable nightly and stable nightly, like ESR nightly and development editions seem to be most affected. It had to do with a certificate expired, and so it's basically disabling all certificates. There's, I guess, their Twitter. Let's see, there's a temporary hotfix for the add-ons issue. ZDNet has an article which will probably have some of the best up-to-date stuff now. I think I may or may not do a video about it. I don't know. But anyway, greetings, everybody. How are you guys all today? Let's see, up to the top. Heavy RU will be a necrophiliac when Windows 7 dies. Ew. Emperor will still use. Moved from Windows 7 to Linux Mint like 2 weeks ago. Best decision ever. Absolutely. Fist bump it. All right. Just don't hit your screen when you do that. They tend to break. I'll continue to use it for the occasional game that doesn't work under Wine, Proton, Lutris. There you go. Said in previous stream, my machine was hot swappable drive bays. I have Windows 7 and Windows 10, several distros of Linux, each physical drives. So if Windows 7 gets a virus, just wipe the drive, copy it from the good Windows 7 drive with the disk duplicator. Then you just need to figure out how it got infected. If it was something like an email or something easy, but if it's some worm on the internet, good luck. But yes, that's a good option as well. Invest in some Clonezilla now. Make good backups of your good drives now, and just keep it. That one got infected, and reswap it. You know. Chris Wald's greetings. The majority will just move to Windows 10, which is sad. Some will go to Linux, and some will stay. Say yep, F it, and stay with Windows 7. Yes. Hello, Q1 Fiend. Greetings. Most people don't care. Odds are they'll run 7 until the system stops working or buy a new one or use a free upgrade. Yes, there is not a free upgrade at this point, unfortunately. But yes, that is what most people will probably do, is just keep using it. And then, you know, especially since most people, you know, that way anyway, you know. Jesse Crypto will do precisely nothing. Yes, says the guy who hasn't used Windows in a long, long time. Yes, there's some stuff on the Mozilla issue. Hello, welcome to live chat. Greetings to you. Yu-Gi-Oh! Hello, how's it going down there in Florida? Any exciting Florida news, Ricky? Let me know. Okay, let's see. Ooh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Smells food. Donuts. As a dog, I must know. All right, woof woof. Already give Microsoft my data. I mean, switch to 10. Yes, yes. Ricky uses ungoogled Chromium. Let's see. All versions of Firefox are affected. Twitter page says it. I lost my extended themes and can't download them. No! Use Orbot to torify all traffic and disable Google Apps and give me false... Wait. Will using Orbot to torify all traffic to disable Google Apps give me a false sense of security? It completely depends on what you're doing with the system. So if you are using Tor and then logging into any account that already had your information, you are completely showing the entire Tor traffic node who you really are and everything you've been doing. So you have to use the internet differently when you are on Tor. Don't be logging into any accounts or things like that. And Tor will not disable your Google Apps. You need to disable Google Apps in different ways. Hello, Serge. How's it going there? Okay, check the blog post. I have no problems with extensions in Firefox. Are you on just the basic stable channel, or are you on a nightly or something? switched from Ubuntu Mate back to Linux Mint 19.1 as they needed more stability and Firefox is so unstable. Yes. Hello, Steve Skipper. Greetings there. Yes, the kitty's on. Ben, how's it going there, Ben? Oh boy, I lost my place. All right. Grey Moon Linux, hello there. Before that happens, I will convert maximum number I can to Linux and get on unsupported PCs. There you go. Not worried about Windows 7. Yes, says the other guy that doesn't use it. Only doesn't affect... according to the note that I saw in the Reddit thread, it was affecting ESR, Nightly, and Developer. That's the one, but I don't know. Guys, let me know what your experience has been. I generally don't run... Do I have any add-ons on this? I don't think I have add-ons on my Firefox. I generally don't run add-ons. I do all my blocking stuff from the network level. Yeah, I don't actually have any add-ons on mine. All right, let's see. Running Hackman at the moment. When Windows 7 dies, well, I just use Discord. Ooh. Linux can get better and to drop Windows completely. There you go. 660304, 64-bit extensions are working fine. Okay. You can still upgrade for free by using the old upgrade manager. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. Ain't a legit Windows 7 key works. Not according to the official Windows 10 website, but of course they're trying to make money, so who do we trust? If you still can do that, that's cool. I did not realize that. Right, let's see. Hello, Loopy. YouTube didn't notify me. Oh no, yeah, that's YouTube just doesn't like to notify people. Thinking of trying Skype again. I missed that program. It's first social program I used. Actually, Yu-Gi-Oh, Skype you can use on a web base instead of installing it now. Of course, you can't do it on Firefox, but apparently you can't use Firefox for anything right now, so what's the difference, Firefox issue may just be Manjaro. Go to Firefox Preferences, Enable Studies. Yeah, there you go. Enable the data collection and the studies for Firefox. Get your extensions back. Where's my hat? I need my other hat for this. Wow. Next week on Yu-Gi-Oh! A live stream on Slackware. All right, very awesome. Cool. Crack Windows 7. You upgrade, you'll get a valid license. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump on into our discussion for today. What will you do after Windows 7? So let me go ahead and get everything ready. Welcome back to Switch to Linux. The end of Windows 7 is rapidly approaching. What will you do when it dies? That's kind of the question, and that's really where this channel came from. I'm not, and I never have pretended to be, a long-time, massive, backdoor, completely knowledgeable Linux user. The purpose of this channel has been to show people who need to get real computer work done, who are maybe not computer novices, but computer professionals, how to do real work on Linux platforms. And really, for me, since I always plan and plot ahead, for me, I saw the writing on the wall a long time ago, and I said, well, I still run my development computer that I use for my regular day jobby stuff is still running Windows 7. And then the question I had was that, what is going to happen when this goes? I either can roll up to Windows 10 and go meh, like all of the other sheeple out there and just accept whatever they want to do, or I can start looking for other options. Now, I had a Mac at that point in time as well, and I was looking at that and going, that's really not a viable option. Me and Mac workflow just does not jive. So for me, the Windows workflow is exactly what I wanted. And so I started experimenting around with different Linux build, and when I found Linux Mint, I was like, this is like heaven on earth. It's exactly what I wanted. The complete layout, the complete format that I use. But what is going to happen? What are you going to do when Windows 7 ends? So first, what do we mean by end of life? The end of life of an operating system means that they're no longer going to be using security updates. It's not like you're going to turn on the computer one day and it just won't start because it's end of life. That's not what it means. End of life means that they are no longer giving any security patches. In other words, you can still use it, but it's kind of at your own risk because the vulnerabilities that are known, the ways people can get into the back door, will be open and available. And that might be something like a computer worm, like I believe WannaCry was just a computer worm on an open port that impacted Windows systems. Or it could be something that is sent to a vulnerability through an email attachment. So just be aware that if you have really good computer and internet etiquette, you generally won't get viruses anyway. I don't actually run antivirus on my Windows computer. Every now and again, I'll throw malware bytes on there and do a quick scan and then delete the thing. I've never had an issue with a virus on my system. Never running antivirus because I have very good internet etiquette where I'm not opening random attachments. I have a better sense of what I'm looking at, and I don't click fishy links in emails. That's PHIS, not fishy, But what are your options when Windows 7 support finally dies? What are your options? Well, on the official page from Microsoft, they do have some notice here. Support for Windows 7 is ending, and they actually have a variety of different questions. I have 5 different things that you can do when Windows 7 end of life occurs. Now, of course, maybe 6 if we include this non-recommended one. Hey, just don't change anything. Take all firewalls completely off, attach that thing directly onto the internet, and just keep on going like nothing's ever happened. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. But if you want to continue to use Windows 7 safely, you just need to keep it disconnected, or at least mostly disconnected from the internet. We should go back after the end of life period. Support is no longer there. Security updates are no longer there. One of your major options is go back to using the computers like we did in the Windows 95 days. Remember that? We only got on the internet to jump on, do something quick, and then you jump off. You got your games, you got your applications. Of course, this doesn't really jive with our modern world, so it may or may not be something that you can do. But you are always safe to take it offline and use it without the internet. I actually knew a guy, it was a few years back now, but he still ran his entire office, his business office, off of a Windows 95 computer on a little laptop. It just wasn't on the internet, ever. But the version that he used of QuickBooks was exactly what he wanted, and he didn't want to change anything, and that's what he did. So that's always a safe option. Another option that you have, I don't think I have this one written down. Another option you can have is you can actually buy extended support. So extended support's going to cost you, and I forget what the prices are, but there are extended support. Windows 7 Professional, Windows 7 Enterprise. I do not believe they have extended support for home editions. But these you can purchase extra extended support to get security updates. It's just going to cost you, and it costs you progressively more money and only extends it out another 3 years. So you have to be careful with that one. Your next option is take your current system and upgrade to Windows 10. Now, of course, if you click these requirements, it goes right to the Windows Pro links. So that doesn't necessarily help if you are a Windows home user. But you do have the option to examine if your computer is capable of running Windows 10. If it is, you can upgrade to Windows 10. It may or may not cost you a license. According to Windows official sites, then you do have to cost you a license. Some people in my comments here have said that if you still have that application on your Windows 7 computer and you upgrade through that, it is still free. I don't know which is correct, but I've heard both things. But you may have a system that you can upgrade your system to Windows 10 and keep using Windows in that manner. I'm not a big fan of that, just because I don't like the direction that Windows 10 is going, and that is why I have chosen instead to switch to Linux. okay, because it can do everything I need it to do. And this channel is dedicated not to all of the back-end geeky Linux stuff, which is, I am not knocking that at all. That is awesome stuff. I love that stuff. But the purpose of this channel is to teach basic computer users who want to use a GUI, who need to use an easy-to-use format, how to do your basic work on a Linux platform. That's exactly what this channel is for, okay? And we'll get into that in a bit. But you can upgrade your system. Now, they're saying the best recommendation is buy a new PC. Well, that's very, can we quote that line from Iron Man? That's a very good line from a person selling the missiles, That's a very good line from a person selling the PCs. Not everybody can go out tomorrow and buy a new computer. And we'll get to that option in a bit. But upgrading to Windows 10, changing to Windows 10 is an option. I don't like that option, but it is an option. And some of you legitimately need to keep using Windows for what you're doing. No problem. No problem. I'm not mad at you at all if you choose to stay on Windows or Mac, whatever else. You can use what you need to use. I just want people to know that there are other options, especially when the whole world's going in subscription models, and you saw what happened with Adobe doubling the price of their photography pack. There's a good reason to learn Krita and GIMP if you ever needed one. All right, so the next is you actually can upgrade and install Windows 10 without a license. My virtual machines that I use for testing Windows 10 things for clients, every now and again I need to log into Windows 10 and do something on Chrome on Windows 10. I run them on a virtual machine. You can install Windows on a device and not activate it, as far as I know. Now, the activation prevents you, the lack of activation, I should say, prevents you from running your system settings. So everything's going to be turned on to max data collection, and you can't do anything about it. That's why that's not necessarily the best option. But if you have to, you have to. If it's just like, I either have to get on the internet and use this thing in an unsecure format, or go to Windows 10, you do have that option too. If you can't get the free activation on your Windows 7 license, then you can actually use Windows 10 without activating it. It's just that you can't change the settings. Theming, settings, a lot of basic things, all those privacy settings, all that data collection. You're not activating it, but you're giving them maximum data collection and the ability to force ads on you. That's what's going to happen without that. Of course, because this channel is called Switch to Linux, the number 5 option is Switch to Linux. Now, the reason we're talking about this, earlier than the day before Windows 7 dies, and I have been talking about this over the course of the last 6 months at least, is that you don't want to just wipe your system, install Linux, and then try and go about your day. You're going to have a bad day. It takes some time to get into the Linux world. It takes some time to get primed. You want to become familiar with what Linux is. You want to become familiar with how to install applications. You want to be familiar with some of the software differences. You're not going to be able to install every piece of software that you want on your Linux system. But there are good alternatives. So people say, well, how do I get Microsoft Word on Linux? Well, you don't, but you have numerous other systems that are just as good. I use LibreOffice for everything. I'm an advanced user of it. I'm an author. I write and produce my books on LibreOffice, and they go right to the printers. I just pushed one out to KDP last night, and I will not have any problem pushing out to the other systems as well. Done it many times, all through Linux. All on LibreOffice. There's WPS Office. I don't like their EULA, but it is an option. Some people say it has better compatibility with Microsoft Office. I don't know for sure. And I have a video about how to make LibreOffice more compatible with Microsoft Office. It just has to do with what fonts are installed and what format you're sending them. That's really what it boils down to. The next thing, figuring out your applications. Figure out, instead of asking, will this software run, ask, what software do I need? Like, what tasks do I need to accomplish, and how do I do that on Linux? So I actually have some playlists on getting started with Linux. So if you are new to Linux, we have getting started with Linux. So this one is how to create a Linux live key under Windows 10. This will also work under Windows 7. So if you are in the process where you're needing to switch over to Linux, grab an ISO image, follow this tutorial, put that on a little USB drive, and you can boot your computer into that without installing it. We're not wiping out your Windows system. We're not going to mess with your hard drive. We're just going to boot into it to see how it works, how well it does. Not every distro is going to work with every piece of hardware. Not every distro is going to work best for everybody. And the great thing, though, about Linux is there's different workflows. Depending on the type of workflow that you want, you have the ability to choose those workflows. We also talk about how you can install Linux to external hard drives. We also, one of the things that you want to do is you want to start looking at, I think the 5 tips to start with Linux here, this one here, kind of talks about this progression. First, on your Windows system, look for those open source alternatives and install those on your existing Windows system, and then try starting to learn how to use those applications. If you like the ribbon in Microsoft Office, you can put that on LibreOffice now. If you like the old format, if you remember the old format of Microsoft Office, that's kind of the default. I love that old format. I can customize it to exactly what I need with custom options. If you like the ribbon, you can do that too. All right, but install these open source applications while you still have your Windows 7 machine and start learning how to use those applications. So then when you switch to Linux, they're already there. You already know how to do it. It will be flawless for you. And you can watch that video for the other tips. The playlist will be linked down here for below. Now, one of the challenges is if you have older hardware. If you have older hardware, now Windows 10 is actually a little bit more streamlined than Windows 7. So it actually, generally it will work on very similar hardware without a lot of hassle, as long as you can get past all of the hard disks spinning up to 100% for a while after you turn it on. That would be the data collection and telemetry. But with that, the idea is you might be able to use Windows 10, but if you really don't want to, if you're ready to make that switch to Linux, I do have a video for distros for lower end hardware. Again, this will be linked in the video and in the description below. But this one here, we look at 5 different distributions for low end hardware. And what we want to do with this one is we're looking at lighter systems, so Manjaro, Linux Mint, XFCE, MX Linux, Linux Lite, and Peppermint, pretty much all based on XFCE, which is a very lightweight but very good desktop environment, the way that the system is set up. So that is one of the things that you want to look for. And then, of course, if you're just, hey, you have a pretty good computer and you're not necessarily looking for something low end, have a look at my top distros for 2019, where we look at the different distributions that I pinned out as saying, yeah, these are some of the best distros that you can look at. We have Arch, Elementary, Solus, Manjaro, and Mint. So those are my tips. What will you do when Windows 7 dies? Start planning for that now. Are you just going to make the switch to Windows 10? Are you going to jump ship over to Mac? Or are you going to try out some Linux systems? If you're unsure, it is completely free to test out these Linux systems. Download a few, put them on USB drives, boot into your systems, and see how they work with you. Start asking yourself, can I accomplish the work I need to do with these open source platforms, or am I completely married to these software packages that we know what they would like to do with us? We just saw Adobe do it yesterday when they doubled the price of their subscription model for the photography pack. All right, that's the thing they want to do. With Linux, free and open source applications, and you will still be able to get the majority of your work done on that system. Let me know what you guys think. What system are you using? What is your plan for when Windows 7 support dies? Let me know in the comments down below. You can help support the channel by having a look at the links above me, including shop.switchedtolinux.com if you want this awesome sub to the cat shirt. Take a look at the links in the description down below, and if you'd like, follow along on the social media to get better notifications when we push a video live. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. All right, let's see. We have one more video, guys. Don't go away. Somebody did ask me to look at Fedora Cinnamon, and so we're going to do another video looking at Fedora Cinnamon. I'm going to go back through the comments first, swap our titles over, and then we will dive into Fedora as well. So let's see. Joke earlier, I guess I'll use Discord. Oh wait, Discord's kind of a server dead right now. Yeah. As Windows 7 won't upgrade to Windows 10 or Linux, we will be able to pay for Will we be able to pay for updates in 2020 like businesses will be? As long as you have the extended or if you have the extended or the enterprise editions, you will be able to. Not the home editions. Skype is available as .deb. Yes, it is available as a .deb. It is also available as, I think my Arch system runs it as a flat pack, I think. It actually runs just fine. Yes, you can download a deb and an RPM directly from Skype's website, though, if you prefer those methods. Add-ons switch to ESR, made a change about config, now add-ons are back. Very cool, very cool. So I guess if you change to ESR, I mean, the documentation I was reading about that, ESR was also affected, but I guess not. I don't know. Okay, so get the fix and then disable studies. All right, that's good to know. Hello, George. Greetings to you. Cookie monster. I had some cookies for breakfast. Well, I had some bacon and eggs and then some cookies. It was good. Hello, Jonathan. Greetings. So disabled due to verification is to use. All right, not gonna lie. 1810 upgraded to 1904 using Farron's Ubuntu upgrading tool is really getting on my nerves. All of a sudden, 1810 System D suddenly can't start session. Oh, that's not good. So update Firefox CSR with a day later HTTPS everywhere uBlock origin. All right. Well, you might have a business edition at home. I mean, I've seen that before. You know, people who work for software companies can take a business copy home. Side note, I wonder how many people mistakenly misspelt phishing as phishing in phishing emails. Yep. That's all right. On Slackware extensions, Firefox 60 ESR, and everything's working. Good to know. Awesome. But Microsoft will use Linux kernel someday. Yes. The Linux kernel. It will get everywhere. All right. Okay. Volume licensing. Still use it after January 2020 because my computer has problems with Linux, unfortunately. Ooh, that's not good. As long as there's a virus protector for it, I will use it. Currently using XP, Vista, and 7. All right. What will I do after it? That's why I have a Linux system ready to take its place. I don't want ads in my start menu. Thank you very much. Oh, but why not? Titus gave 3 or 4 ways to upgrade Windows 10 in a video the other day for free. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, check out his video then. I didn't see it, so... Windows 10 for free. You can still use the OEM sticker keys to upgrade Windows 10 if you want. Interesting. Change settings without activation on Vista and XP. Yeah, that applies to Windows 10. On Windows 10, you can change. Windows Vista and XP, they had a different activation and issues for not activating, etc. Do you recommend learning Linux on a spare computer? Yes, if you have the ability to pick up a spare computer, do that. If you don't, then pick up an external hard drive. Like, you can install Linux on a USB drive, but it generally works better on an external hard drive. Installing Linux to the external hard drive, plug that into the computer to start it up. That's actually how I run my other computer. Almost always runs off of an external hard drive. So if you can afford an extra computer, I mean, you can pick up a cheap one on Craigslist or eBay or something. Absolutely, that's the best way to get it running. If you can't do that, then pick up a hard drive. If you can't do that, you can do it on a USB drive as well. Make sure when you install it, make sure you pull all the hard drives out of your other disks so you don't mess those up on the installation. I have videos about that in my Getting Started playlist. All right. Wine is okay but buggy. Yes, it can be. Try convincing people to have their PC switched to Linux. It fails. Make them think I installed Windows by installing Linux Mint. There you go. Yep. Yeah. Hello, peoples. Okay, let's see. This distro should use Windows 7 end-of-life support to create marketing for Linux. Yes, they should. Specifically need Office for whatever reason. Just run an offline Windows and a VM. Yeah, that's good. Need Linux and stay away from the terminal. You just get the system look after itself. Yep. That's why I like Mint, you know. Good way to make a distro suite to suit your needs. Good way. Well, you know, it really boils down to the desktop environment. So I've been doing a series of videos on desktop environments, basically showing you how to go through, change all the configurations, change all the settings, just move things around. Check out those videos. I don't know if I have those in a playlist. I think I do. I think I actually have all those in a playlist now. So you can see all of the different desktop environments. Just use disk, swipe the drive, walk away from Windows 10, give yourself a crash course. There you go. Yeah, there's always immersion, you know. Microsoft Office is garbage. All right. Okay. Windows 10 or Linux? Not much choice. That's right. Kitty, don't knock my camera over. Stay away from the camera. Back away from the camera, you cat. All right. Okay. Peppermint 9. I'm on Windows 10. Have no complaints. Got Windows 10 1803 on 2007 Dell Vistro. All right. Something isn't in the source repos, and it will be annoying as hell, especially a newcomer to Linux. Yeah, I agree. They do though have the snaps available, but yeah, maybe that the top 5 Linux distros for 2019. Maybe that's not just for beginners. I think Elementary might have a similar issue, although based on Ubuntu, it will have more. Yes, you disable all spyware. Windows 10 isn't so bad. Yeah, the problem is, though, is they just keep on reverting back, and that's kind of the problem. Switching to Linux. I don't want ads on my start menu. Yep. Okay. LTS Kubuntu release using 1804. Me free apps means pay as that app helps you. Yes, absolutely. The donation model is good, and you should always support the developers for the software you're using. What's good is that if you're financially unable to, then it's good to be able to actually get production done. But if you're a photographer, you're getting started and you can't pay $20 a month to Photoshop because you have too many other things. What do you do? Versus if you're doing the same stuff with GIMP, with Krita, Darktable, all these different things, then you can use these applications, and then as your business grows, then you can turn around and start paying them as they've helped you, which is always the best. What's the best GPU? I would use AMD. I think though there's even in AMD though, I think the absolute latest do have some issues, but AMD is way more open with getting out the support that to get the drivers available. Use ICE packages and a web page to an app for Facebook would still track other instances of that browser. Ooh, that's a good question. My guess is it would. That's my guess. Maybe what you might do is just set your browser to always erase history, cookies, etc. That's kind of it. Adobe created a poll for people to vote if they want Adobe products on Linux. Yeah. All right. We have one more video we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and start getting that one ready. So we're going to be looking at Fedora 30 Cinnamon because somebody asked me to do a video about that. Go ahead and get my system started up here, and then we'll get moving on that. All right. AMD Vega 64 is good. If you run the Arch Radeon, very good. All right. Recommend getting an older ThinkPad for any OS. Way more ports than modern PC and physical switches. Yep. People will switch to Linux either if they are unable to stay on Windows, migrate to Mac, or find Linux more interesting. Microsoft Office actually really sucks now. Yeah. Latest version of Microsoft Office that I have used is, I think I have 2007, I think is what I have. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this one. Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, I had a request to have a look at Fedora 30 Cinnamon, and since I still had the net installer and some spare time and an available virtual machine, I decided to go ahead and have a quick look at it, and this is just going to be a brief look through the system. So I've installed it. Now I've actually gone into here and just poked around a little bit just to kind of get in there. So Fedora, of course, has been coming a long way, a lot more usable, particularly if you're using the GNOME workstation, where they're making it a lot easier to add your non-free repos, Fusion, things like that into the system. That is actually really good. But then when I experimented with running Fedora on bare metal, way back on, I think it was, well, way back on version 29, it was a few months ago, I ran that on Fedora Plasma, and I found that it wasn't quite as nice and streamlined. And so I wanted to go ahead and give this a try on Cinnamon and just kind of have a look at it. Now, when you first boot it up, this is what you get. I did install a few other applications in here just so we can have a look. I installed HTOP just so we can get in here and from the start, from the get-go, we're using about 838 megabytes of RAM, so I have 6 gigs in here. And you can see it's not doing a whole lot, so that's actually not too bad. All right. So with that, what do we find inside of here? Well, the only software installer we have is DNF Dragora, and I've actually found this not necessarily to be a super good system. In fact, I remember it crashing a lot on Plasma. I installed one application on this, I think, just to test it out. We do have the ability to, when it's done spinning on me, we'll have the ability to have a look at the repositories and things like that. So what we might find is you'll see I have the RPM Fusion free and the tainted and the updates installed on here. Those are available, but there's no way to toggle these on easily like there is in the workstation form. So you are still going to need to go in and install those via the terminal, which no big deal. Just grab the instructions on how to do that. So I installed those. I installed FFmpeg. And I can't remember, I think that the Fedora repos do not have VLC and or Kodi, but RPM Fusion does. And so I installed those just to give it a quick test. And so you'll see that I have both those applications installed on here as well. Those were installed after I put on the Fusion. I did all those through the terminal. I added Evolution through our DNF Dragora. And then everything else on here is just kind of the basics. So those are the only applications I installed. So we have Cinnamon. We have just the basic utilities that are going to come with Cinnamon. We have our disks. We have our simple scanner. Just some basic things. Firefox by default. A few other applications. And I did not install anything else with the system. So out of the box, this is kind of what we get. Our preferences are set up. I really like the theming that they went with. They actually are using the Mint theming, which is kind of good. And it just kind of gives a nice unified feel. And they did give us this dark mode by default. So, of course, if you come on over to the themes setting, you should be able to pick from a variety of different themes. And so you'll see that they actually have all of the themes that you would have installed under a Linux Mint system are actually here, which most of the Cinnamon builds that I've seen on different systems do not actually have all these. So if you like those Mint themes, they are available to you. We do have some Fedora themes in there as well. So you can see that we have the various Mint themes, and then we have a few extra ones that we don't generally have inside of the Mint themes as well. To some people, this may be too many options, but hey, at least we have some options, right? And then as far as our desktops, again, we have our basic Cinnamon. We even have our basic Linux Mint themes, which is, again, a little unusual for a Fedora build. But there we have them. And then, of course, it defaults to the Aqua for everything. We can still add and remove everything. And we are based on, of course, the latest version of Cinnamon, as we can see. Let's just go ahead and have a look at the system, though. Okay, so we are running Fedora 3030. Look at that, Fedora 3030. We are running Cinnamon version 4.0.10, Linux kernel 5.0.10, and then you can see everything else that we have in the system. We do have the sound effects turned on by default, which is, you can kind of hear. Maybe not hear them too much. But there we have all of the systems set up. So as far as how the system works, the GUI installer is to be desired, but I've actually found anytime I was using Fedora, the terminal is just so much easier to use DNF than to use the GUI anyway. Again, this one, the one that they do give you, they only give you the one, versus on Plasma, I think they actually give you 2 or 3 different installers, which was interesting. But we only have that one. Again, you can install everything through the terminal. Just like usual, and we don't have a good GUI way to turn on those other settings, those other the RPM Fusion to get your multimedia codecs. Just install those to the terminal, no big deal on that. But you do have to know how to do that. Just look it up, really. Nothing else really in there. Not a lot else is going to be different. There's not a ton of other systems in here. Not a ton of other differences. It's just Fedora with bare minimal applications with the Cinnamon desktop environment. Once you get those other repos installed, if you want to do that, everything else is going to be quick and easy. And that is pretty much what we get. As far as our software, though, anytime we're running Fedora, I gotta get a cat off the desk. All right. As far as when you're running Fedora, you are always going to get some of the latest of each application. So it is absolutely on that cutting edge. So let's go ahead and see what version we have of Firefox. Of course, add-ins would probably be disabled. There you go, 6603. So that's what we have for that. In fact, last time I ran Kodi, in fact, I was even running a beta version of it. So let's boot up Kodi and see what we have on that. (18.2). Actually, I think my Arch system's newer. Mouse support on this is not very good, but I could blame that on a virtual machine. All right, so as far as customizability, usability, we have everything the way that I would like to see it. This is a system that, frankly, if I were to be switching over to Linux, I would kind of like this. Of course, the downside, Fedora always, they do provide some upgrade paths. Oftentimes it messes with some things. Most people will choose to just reinstall the entire system every few months when a new release comes out. I think they're on like a 9-month release schedule, if I remember. The times that I've used Fedora, I've actually grown to like it. It's a lot better than it was when I first was experimenting with Linux. There's really no super surprises here. Latest software, latest updates. I did actually find my online accounts. Once again, like the other Fedora, my online accounts did not actually give me the ability to sync my documents with Nextcloud. Again, I don't know if this is an older version of the online accounts they're using, but you should actually have a 4th option to sync documents with this as well. But again, the documents does not work on this. It works on Ubuntu, I found. It doesn't work on this one. I should actually see, again, those other options. But the other thing that tells me this is probably an older one is it is still using the OwnCloud logo. So there's something about the online account system that is being held back. Is that a big deal? Probably not. Everything else should work just fine. So let's have a look if the contacts is installed. It's not. Contacts and calendar does not appear to be installed. But I did install Evolution, so those should actually all cross-sync perfectly fine. Sure, set it as default client. Why not? All right, we're going to cancel that. We don't need any of those. No, I don't need a Flickr account. If I come down to contacts, we should have contacts here syncing up. There you go. There's our contacts. All right. And then our calendar as well. Let's go back to the week and actually the month and go back a month. So these are all my test events inside of my Nextcloud calendar. So you can see that my contacts, my calendars are syncing through Evolution. That's why I use Evolution for that. So as far as the platform, yeah, I like it. It runs on very minimal RAM. It does seem to run pretty snappy, and this is in software rendering mode on a virtual machine. We do have the latest up-to-date software. I don't know what's up. Does anybody out there know what's up with the Fedora and the online account? Are they holding that version back? Is there a reason? I have not looked into the reason why. Would I run this? Absolutely. This would be a great distro to run. You do have to, like I said, be more familiar with the terminal to get this running. We don't have quite the support that the GNOME Software Center has for the third-party repos and things like that. But as long as you're comfortable learning that, then there's no issues, no problems. So that's just my very brief take on Fedora 30 Cinnamon. Great distro. Definitely check it out. I installed this through the net installer. Just download the Fedora net installer. I picked the Cinnamon desktop environment instead of the GNOME. And away we went. Installed perfectly fine. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Have a look at the links up above me or in the description down below. Leave us some comments, your feedback. Do you like Fedora 30? Do you like Cinnamon? Yes or no? Or is, Cinnamon just what you put on your toast? Let me know. Hope you enjoy switching to Linux. All right. Alrighty, let's see. Okay, I think I already went there. Okay, recommend getting an older ThinkPad for any OS, way more ports. Okay, I think I've been there already. It's time finding a distro that work with my GPU. Okay, I've been through some of these comments already. 95, Coral Word was perfect. Do I take vacations? Rarely. I actually just love what I do. A very interesting comment. I was reading Seth Godin's book Tribes, right? And in there he's talking about he's like at a vacation thing, and he's in the hotel lobby on his computer checking email, and he overhears some tourist passing by going, "Oh, that poor guy, he has to work on his vacation." And he says, "No, I love what I do. I like what I do." So for the most part, I generally don't do vacations. But when I do, I generally just work a little bit up front. You never know I'm on vacation until at least halfway through. If it's shorter than a week, then not at all. In fact, earlier last week, actually, I was away from the office for a few days. I just recorded some videos and re-released them on a schedule. And those videos hit exactly at 5 o'clock, man, even. That's because they were scheduled. I did a little bit more work. No, I don't generally do much on vacations. I love what I do. I don't really feel a need for a vacation. I build it into my daily practice. Every day before getting into work, I go out to some parks. I take walks through the woods. Just take it nice, take it slow, things like that. So, biggest gripe with Office is the black theme is only available on Office 365. Ew. If you buy a beefy Ryzen, you ought to be on Gen 2. Well, maybe. In fact, you might need to be. Do not use Fedora if you have NVIDIA, and will use GNOME. By default, it uses Wayland, and it sucks with NVIDIA. Yeah, I've heard that. What do you use in DOS? Yeah, probably Lotus. Yeah, NVIDIA is not generally supported under Wayland. That's the problem. Yep. Look at Mint Cinnamon. I'm looking at Mint Cinnamon right now. That's what I'm running. I mean, come on. Q is able to handle it. You can use it, but you'll notice it's buggy. Something that doesn't change, and I know how I can make literally everything work. Yep. Wallpaper's ugly. Yes. The new Fedora wallpaper is ugly as sin. Man, that 29 wallpaper was like epically awesome. I don't know what's up with that one. The Fedora desktop looks just like Cinnamon. Yes, it is. It's exactly what it is. Unpopular opinion. Cinnamon and KDE are the only desktop environments that have any chance of competing with Windows or OS X. I agree. I mean, Cinnamon for sure. I think Cinnamon is the absolute best contender to compete with Windows, especially with the newer version. I'm not a fan of the newer icon systems, but frankly, it works and you can set it up perfectly fine. But Cinnamon is by far. I don't know about KDE because I think there's too many options, too many settings, too many things to confuse somebody. But I think Cinnamon is like about as perfect as you're going to get to compete with Windows. That's Quattro card. I do not. Mint theme, but blue. Yes, correct. Yes. All the Mint themes are in there. They just defaulted it to the blue. Yep. Mint Y greater than Mint X. I almost slept through the stream. For some reason, my brain decided to sleep for 13 hours. Well, you know. It's that teenager thing, you know. Blue theme looks very nice. Can you show me the theme settings? Oh, I hope that you saw the theme settings. Yeah, just go into the theme settings. It's the Mint Aqua theme. Just go with the Mint, is it Mint X Aqua theme, I think it is? Okay, let's see. Pizza. All right. Just your Rock Linux Mint. You can easily switch NVIDIA proprietary drivers with the driver manager. Yep. Bug NVIDIA drivers might be just 390 drivers, though. My card is so old, I need to upgrade. Greetings, Robert. How's it going there? Running on the treadmill. Awesome. You should put like pictures of zombies behind you. You know, give you something to run from. When a laptop while running Fedora, would that be considered tipping your Fedora? That's right. That's right indeed. Fedora is the only Linux distro where the GNOME Software Center actually works. I agree. Oh, I hate the GNOME Software Center, but Fedora does have it figured out. The application developer, is it better to run Mint or Manjaro for all the DEs? As a developer, I would do Manjaro because a developer needs to stay more on the cutting edge. So if you're developing like apps, things like that are going to rely on the cutting edge. The problem is if you stay in Mint, you're not going to roll the latest updates. And so your apps may break with the latest things. So you might even need to run both, but I would probably do Manjaro instead so that you have the latest of everything. Would I use it now? Not on production because Fedora and production, it just rolls too much. And I don't have time to, if something goes goofy on the update, I don't got time to fix it. Mint is a lot more predictable in that respect. But I would absolutely use it on my other computer. Think documents as inside files. No, what I'm talking about is, well, I think you might be talking to someone else. Documents, though, what I'm talking about is for the Nextcloud online account sync will sync documents as well. And there's the Documents application, which doesn't work on Fedora. I thought it would, but it doesn't. 3-piece or 2-piece? Which suite or which suit? I mean, for the suit, don't go for a 3-piece. For the suite, I mean, go for LibreOffice. Fedora Pantheon. Yep. Which distro is better for being a Linux application developer with C++, Mint or Manjaro? Yeah, that, I would, in that case, C++, I'd probably do Mint because I don't want the thing rolling and messing up all my stuff. That's my thought. Also love Budgie Desktop as well. Yes, Budgie is awesome. Howdy, better menu. Yeah, the menu does kind of suck. They also don't have the ability to put quick launches on your panel. Yes, okay. Alex, the Firefox issue is related to a server certificate. Check out the article on ZDNet, and they will have the workaround up there. Desktop icons on GNOME worked out of the box. Then maybe it'd be an older version of Nautilus. Emperor Palpatine, execute Firefox 66. What did Firefox 66 do to you? Jeez. Talked to the Fedora guys at LinuxFX. They said they will be making it easier to install non-free with drivers. Ooh, nice. That will be epic. Hopefully that gets ported over to all of the builds, not just the GNOME one, though. Yeah, Alex, check out the ZDNet article. Back, just walked around the block 3 times. All right, there you go. Hotfix. How can you get time off? Too many unicorns. Yeah. That's right. .config and XP install signatures required for false. Yep. So that will block all certs. That could be a little dangerous, but oh well. Anyone's Firefox completely messed up? I can't install extensions or anything. Yeah, let me pull up that ZDNet article. That just keeps coming up. All right, so for you guys that are jumping on a little bit later, there is an issue where just overnight the certificates expired for Mozilla for the add-ons, which basically completely kills all add-ons on Firefox. So they've been looking at the issue. So this is kind of what you get. Everything's unsupported. Don't remove, don't find replacement. So they do have a, let's see if their status page is updated. Okay, so it's a certificate issue. Okay, let's see. Not apply ESR or Firefox for Android. Okay, so here's actually what you do. This is creepy, and I don't like it at all. But you want to go down here, enable the data collection and use. Yeah, this is tinfoil hat material right here. Enable this and use. This will automatically fix everything, and then you just need to go in and redisable it. So they are aware of the issue. The other thing you can do is, as Pizza said, go into About Config, go down to install signatures required, change that to false. Now, the problem with that one, though, is it makes it so certificates are not required, which basically could mean this could let fraudulent add-ons into the system. So you have to be careful with that. But it is another workaround as well. So that seems to be what the workaround happens to be for now. And hopefully it'll get updated and perfectly fixed. I'm not rolling. If you have not upgraded Firefoxes yet, don't upgrade Firefoxes. Just give it some time for that to get resolved. See, guys, this is why I don't run updates on a regular basis. If I require those, in fact, my work computer, which fortunately is down right now because I'm not working Saturdays, if I turn that thing on and rolled updates, I now would have serious infrastructure that I use for my regular day job not working. That's exactly why I use Linux Mint, and just because it says update, I don't necessarily update every single time. If there's something critical, I'll update it manually. If there's something that has to be, or if, hey, I don't have a lot of projects and I have time to fix a system, if it goes wonky, that's when I push mass updates on everything. This is why I do not update everything. If you're not updating Firefox yet, wait for a while. Give it some time, see if that issue goes away. Group policy, Windows 10 Enterprise, very fun. Okay. Oh, there's an app for the zombie thing called Zombies Run. Disable developer's brain. Give them two very similar options and have them choose. Linux is full of these. I'm going to use Manjaro with lots of DEs. There you go. Yep. Use Budgie with Plank. It's my perfect workflow. Yep. Use a laptop with Intel HD graphics and Linux Mint Cinnamon. I can watch streams and videos at 1080p and it runs awesome. Yes, awesome. Because the ePanel doesn't always bring up the applications you click on is my biggest issue with it. I haven't seen that issue. Just posted a very interesting video. I hope he's okay. Uh-oh. We'll have to go check it out. That's not good. Get a Discord server for your fans and or sponsors to gather on. Mozilla issues can be bad for Firefox. That's the thing. I mean, I'm telling you what. Mozilla, they have a serious crisis. And what they don't realize is they keep on screwing around with their loyal fan base. People don't use Chrome and Chrome-based browsers because they like privacy and stuff. So they go to Firefox, and Firefox does all this crap. Hey, you privacy app. The people that use Firefox overwhelmingly are going to be people who care a little bit more about privacy. Now you're telling them that you have to submit to data collection? Yeah. Boy. Firefox is hot garbage. All right. Use Brave, so it's fine. There you go. All right. Not sure how safe Brave really is. I don't think there's a safety issue with Brave at all. I think overall it's a decent system. I don't like Brave because I find the creators are disingenuous. That's what I find about Brave. But as far as the system itself, you know, I mean, it has a built-in rolling ad block system. That's a good thing. Data collection wise, when it started, it had all of that session replay stuff baked into it. That has been since removed, but I don't know. Some edits not work on old versions of Firefox. Yep, that's actually why I have an older version of WaterFox for my development system. I can keep Firefox always more up to date because some of my clients are on like Shopify sites and I can't use... They block you from using older versions, which is completely stupid. It's like, dude, if I want to use an older version, what's your problem with that? You know? So I keep Firefox up to date over there, and it's pretty much useless for me now. I use it for things like that, and then I use WaterFox for everything else. Work with Windows 10. You never know when the machine rebooted overnight. Closing everything you had open. Yep. Firefox issue is not an OS using Firefox. No, it's not an OS issue. It's across the board. You are welcome for the article, Alex. Okay, after running updates on my computer, Cinnamon settings aren't working and all Firefox add-ons are disabled. Why? Why do these companies break their own software? Now, Cinnamon settings aren't working. That's unusual to me. Mint isn't a company owned to go into the terminal and run Cinnamon settings. What gets outputted? Hello, Oreo. Cookies. Cinnamon settings, Python code might be able to help. All right. Okay. There's a browser-based Chromium called Ungoogled Chromium with remove fully privacy crap. Yep. Team over at Gab are trying to fork Brave to use a different cryptocurrency system. Maybe mistaken, but I thought in a previous video you didn't like Brave because of shadow profiles. No. Oh, you know what? Oh, here's what I'm talking. Yeah, here's what you're talking about there. It's not shadow profiles because like a shadow profile is like what Facebook does. So in a shadow profile with Facebook, they're collecting all of this data on you. And when you create an account, they link all that data to you. What Brave does is they have their BAT system, which is their cryptocurrency. And they basically create an account. Maybe you could call it a shadow profile. I differentiate because they're not collecting a lot of data on you. But for your website, for your YouTube channel, they're basically getting in there and creating an account. And if you as a user want to use Brave and say, oh, this is a way to support your creators, then when you visit those sites, you think that money is going to those creators. And then when that money reaches a certain thing, they reach out to you and say, oh, you have money, create an account. That to me is bad. If they're collecting money because you as the end user thinks it's going to go to that creator, they should absolutely give that money to that creator any case, because they have told people it's going to those creators. If I haven't consented, then they should not be allowed to do that. They should have an option there saying this creator does not have an account. You can't support the creator with our system. If they did that, that would be a lot better. But yes, that's I think what you're talking about. Yep. Vice repair yesterday being repaired. Appreciate your attention. Awesome. No problem, Mark. Actually, I pinned your comment, Mark, to the top of that video. Only downside of that for most people, you literally cannot access any of Google. Yes. Do you want it for what do you want for Christmas? I want a dragon. Something more realistic. I want a flawless day one Windows update. What color of dragon would you like? Love it. Yes, by default, Firefox collects data. Yep. How are the Brave devs disingenuous? I just explained why. The other thing I did not explain, though, is that they did not create their company. When they started their company, they didn't start their company to go, we're going to create a privacy-centric browser. They're just using that privacy-centricness as a means to garner support for the people who don't like Chrome. They're trying to get people, that's what in business you call your low-hanging fruit. They created it. If you check the incorporation documents and their first round of angel investment funding, they raised all the money that they raised on day one because their goal was to create a way to upset the advertising market, which is an okay goal. That's something that needs upset. But you never find them talking about that, which was the purpose of their creating the thing at all. They sit there and talk about being a privacy browser, and they're not necessarily. All right? Especially when they're collecting all these money to give to creators, and now they're basically keeping a list of all of these creators so that they can get them into their system, which forces you to agree to a EULA that I don't agree with. That's why I call it disingenuous. It's because of the creation of the system. It does not align with their marketing. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I can do that. Sorry. Forgot I was on it. Okay. Windows 10 decides to wait until I walk away from the laptop to reboot when I'm trying to update utilities. Link to the article. Here, I'll give you the, let's see. All right, here's the ZDNet article. I'll paste this in. You can track down where I got to from that. 10 decides to wait until I walk away from the laptop to reboot. Yep. All right. Alright. I'm not going to read the Python errors there. Alright, check out the Pale Moon browser. Don't use it, but thought of switching it, especially after what happened last night. Yeah, Pale Moon. Pale Moon is kind of like WaterFox, derived from a similar thing. The thing is that it has more people behind the development team, so it's going to be more stable in the long run. You know, if the WaterFox guy gets hit by a bus, there goes WaterFox, unfortunately. But yeah, that is an option. So PPA for it. I don't think there is. I think you have to either download it or build it. Switch to Manjaro today, but I have problems. Oh, what's your problems? There were some things in the latest version of Manjaro that were potentially problematic. I'm going to feed the kitty because he's right here. You want to come up? Come up? Yeah? Want to come up? Come on up. Come on up. Come on. He only jumps up from this side. Right, kitty. Right. Oh boy, kitty. Oh boy. No, there's nothing in my hand, dummy. You have to go into here. There. Stick your face in there, stick your paw in there, stick something in there. Come on. Oh boy. Oh boy, we got the paw. We got the paw action. Oh. I got it. I got it. There you go. There you go. One more, kitty. There you go. Are they finger looking good? Oh, they're finger looking good, aren't they? Okay, had to switch from Manjaro, which used a few months because System D was screwing up. Yeah. Yeah, there was something goofy. Internet is slow, is so slow. Some other problems. Yeah. Forums near the end of the conversation on the GitHub issue. Good looking cat. Yes, he is, aren't you? You're a good looking kitty, huh? Don't forget, guys, sub to the cat. The human's crazy. Shop.switchedtolinux.com. Okay. Cats have terrible spatial recognition. Well, he's spaced out, so, you know. Related to Manjaro or the ISP. That's a good thing. He jumps up from the port side rather than starboard side. He knows he's a maritime standards. Are you a sailor? Are you a sailor? Yes, you are, huh? All right. Yeah. Microsoft loves Linux cats. Yep. Manjaro can be a massive pain in the bleepers, but I still love it. Find problem solved after a good night's sleep. There you go. All right. Well, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and jump off for the day. Thanks for hanging out. I think I'll do the Microsoft video now. I'll do the privacy news from yesterday tonight, and then we'll do the Fedora for tomorrow. And then I will be back Monday with with another top 5. I just got to find an idea. So we will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you all enjoy switching to Linux, and have a good weekend.